Right guys, we're back with another video on the B20a5 out of this 89 Prelude. It's my parts car. Or I guess we're not back with the video, we're back working on this thing. I've done some stuff since I ended up moving my white 91 Prelude into this barn. Just having both side by side. I started stripping this thing apart, got it all cleaned out, got all the interior out. Plug in, obviously. But I got that all stripped out. Engine bay mostly stripped, kind of. So yeah, I'm planning on picking up another Prelude here in a few weeks. Hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll be getting it. It's kind of cool. It's a four-wheel steer car. It's white, so it'd be probably in the long run another parts car. Anyways, here's the engine. It's a B20a5 you guys saw. I took the head off it, got it all stripped apart, which is over here. Got the bent valve out of it, the one bent valve. So this is all the goodies out of it. You guys already saw all that. So yeah, today's agenda, or tonight's agenda, take this thing the rest of the way apart. Got about 2 hours or so. All right guys, the parts pile has grown. You can see a lot. So I found this random bolt that was sitting up in there. A bunch of random acorns and stuff. Been finding a couple of missing bolts so far. There's a missing bolt there for the timing cover, the lower timing cover. But here's all the stuff I'm taking off so far. So, yep. So next thing's next. I'm gonna take off this oil pan. Actually made the oil cooler. But I want to show you guys first where I took it off. Look how bad this oil pan gasket is. Like, that's all sealant. Oh my gosh, they had way too much. So someone's definitely been in here before. And some of the bolts are mismatched too. Alright guys, I'm back. Continuation of this video. I did a lot, as you guys can tell from what is standing in front of me. I got the rods out, pistons out obviously, got the main caps off, rod caps off, got all that good stuff off. Wheel pickup tube off, the, I forget what you call it, the thing goes on top of the rod, the main caps, all that good stuff. And yeah, now we're left with a bare block pretty much, and a crank, and a flywheel, and the oil pump. So, anyways, just thought I'd show you guys a little update. I should have filmed more, but I didn't. I'm kind of bad about that. Sorry, I was on a mission and I got it done. So, anyways, we're going to now plastic gauge this thing. Okay, so anyways, this is the close-up here. So you guys can tell it looks pretty darn good in here. Not too shabby. Someone's definitely been in here before, in the oil pump at least, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I don't really know. I don't really have much experience with these oil pumps at all. And yet, anyways, this is what we're looking at here. Doesn't look too shabby. See some scoring there. I don't know what that's all about, but it looks like a normal old crank. Anyways, this is what we did find out though over here. I'll show you. So what we found out is these are the main bearings. Okay. Is the rods from 1 to 4, and so you guys can tell, yeah, it's quite interesting. And then I took these pistons here. Isn't that interesting? So basically what this means is engine was rebuilt like I thought. When I first started making videos of this car right here, I figured something was up with this engine. Either it was a really low mileage engine, it's been rebuilt. I just don't know why I had valve issues, why the valves kept on sticking, and why eventually the timing belt ended up slipping, and thus causing me why I took this thing apart this early on. But anyways, what we figured out is the bearings are all brand new. Looks like the pistons are brand new, rings are brand new, and someone's definitely been here not that long ago. I mean, not that long ago, as in like 10, 15 years ago. Basically, we don't know what we're going to do yet. So we're going to plastic gauge this thing. Also, another thing we noticed, especially these main bearings, like they're all over the place. Like see the white? The white's what I'm guessing has not been worn yet. That one's been all the way worn, the middle one, but they're just all over the place. It's just really hard to tell where we're at. We were measuring the rod journals, and looks like most of the cylinder 1, 2, and 3 were pretty much all about the same. They're pretty even, but cylinder number 4 was a lot smaller. Like you could slip it in there a lot easier. So we don't know what's up about that. So that's the only thing my grandpa is kind of worried about. All right, guys, we got the plastic gauge here. You can see a little piece of it. What we're going to do is we're just going to set it right there until it rolls away. No, it's stuck on. There, right there. Then we're gonna put the main cap on there and tighten it down. We're not gonna torque it crazy, just get it tight, and then see what it tells us. Alright guys, we got plastic gauge in all the mains. I kind of screwed up because I forgot there was that oil journal thingy that goes, or the oil journal that goes to the middle of them, so I only got one really good reading on the first one because I put the most on there, so oh well. But hopefully you guys can see that right there. That's the best looking one. That one's like 0015, 0.0015, which is good. That's like a brand new bearing. The other ones all read a little less than 0.002, which is the service limit, according to the service manual that somebody posted on the forum, the Prelude Power forum. So yeah, so that's where we're at. All right guys, we just did number 1 and number 4 rod bearings. I'm gonna show you guys what we found. So number 1, as I was saying before, number 1 through 3, they all felt pretty good with the micrometer or whatever. Number 4 felt the lightest, or not lightest, but the less, yeah, smaller, not as accurate or whatever. And this is number 1 rod bearing. That's like obviously a 15. So there it is there. That's like a 15 for sure, if you guys can see that, hopefully. And a number, that one right there, that one's about a 17. 0.017 or so, because it's not quite a 0.0015 or a 0.002. So they said the limit for brand new bearings is 0.0017, which means it's basically a brand new bearing, which it is obviously. So, which is funny, the main bearings actually look better than the rod bearings. Or no, the rod bearings look better than the main bearings. So that's kind of cool. Alright guys, we're back working on the B20a5 today. Showed you guys in the last video, showed you guys everything is all torn apart. Did some research just a little bit ago, and it looks like the mains should be fine at that 0.002 reading or so. People say it's a little better to be loose than super tight. So oil pump off today, so I'm going to show you guys what I found real quick from there. Guys, now we're on the workbench with all the other good engine parts so far I've taken off this thing. And here's the oil pump, you guys can see. I took the cover off. There's a few Phillips screws come off pretty nice. I used a little impact, so I didn't strip anything. Just be kind of careful. They came off pretty nice. No gasket or anything to worry about. It's just a metal plate right there, so that's pretty sweet. I was just reading I think it's a Chilton's manual. I think that's what it is. But I think they use most of the stuff in the service manual, so it should be all right. But just measuring this stuff here, it says. So right here, you're looking at 88-95 Prelude or so. These are just rough estimates. I don't think these are exact, but it's not the service manual. Obviously, it's just Chilton's that I said, so it'd be close enough. This engine's old, so who cares? The radial clearance in the inner and outer pump rotors is, the wear limit is 0.008. So you're checking it like that. So what I'm doing here, I already did all this. I'm just showing you guys for now, for fun. I'm going to grab my 0.008, which is right there. And what I'm doing is I'm on the end here, okay? On the end, trying to stick it into there. It does not stick in there, so that's good so far. That's where most of the wear is going to be. Okay, if I grab my 0.005, still nothing. That's pretty good. That means this is probably a pretty new pump. Now if I grab my 004, it goes into there. So, see that? So I'd say this pump is pretty low mileage, or it's been rebuilt or something, so that's pretty cool. Next thing to look at here is when it says the axle clearance between the pump housing and the outer rotor, 0.005, which is a straight edge there, right there they're showing you. And what that means is, we're at a straight edge here, you're going like this. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. Going like this, and that maximum is 0.005. And then, I'm gonna grab my 0.05, I'm going across the outer rotor. So not the inner rotor, the outer shiny metal thing, not the aluminum. And you guys can see it does not go underneath. But if I grab my 0.04, it was kind of going across earlier here. It'll start going across underneath there. On the one side, because the gasket surface isn't perfectly cleaned off. But so that's within spec too, which is cool. And then the last one is to measure the radial clearance between the housing and the outer rotor, and that is 008 as well, which we're literally just sticking between the rotor and the housing. So that measured out fine too. That was like 005, I think. So we should be all right there. So yes, this thing's in pretty good shape so far. So I guess I'm gonna stick this thing back together. I don't know what this is all about. Somebody is shimmed. I think this is the relief valve or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know if they shimmed it or they just put a new cotter pin in there, took it out and cleaned it. I don't really know. But it looks all right. Yeah, this pump looks really good. I mean, I don't see any big scoring or anything. I just want to start stripping this block, getting it cleaned up today. That's the agenda. Take the crank out of it, flywheel, obviously. So I can clean the block, don't get any dirt anywhere it's not supposed to be. And then the other thing on today's agenda, which will be in a separate video, won't be in this video, is unloading my new Prelude. So I got another one. I'm up to number 4. All right, guys, we're gonna wash the B20a5 now. Brought it outside by the other 91 Prelude, and we're gonna wash this bad boy. This thing's covered in grease. It's just filthy. So I'm gonna get some greaser going here, and this thing's gonna turn out crazy. So let's get to it. Oh, I'm getting pelted. I don't want to turn you guys off. Alright guys, unfortunately, I am back with a voiceover of this video. The GoPro somehow lost about 40 files. Fortunately, they were kind of important, but I'll try my best to explain what's going on here. So this picture is the B20a5 block, if you guys have seen. You guys saw me degreasing it previously. I actually decked it. Not really decked it the proper way, but did it with 400 grit sandpaper in a very straight metal block, and made sure it was nice and flat. And it actually turned out way better than I thought it would. So yeah, so no need for machine work. Just use some 400 grit sandpaper, went over it a bunch of times in every direction. And then, as you guys see, the cylinder walls look pretty nice. I used a 400 grit stone on a 3-arm cylinder wall hone, and did a couple passes, several passes actually. Used transmission fluid to lubricate the cylinder walls, and that turned out pretty nice as well. That's what the service manual recommends, 400 grit, so that turned out awesome. And then, yeah, so unfortunately all that footage went missing. And then I also decked the cylinder head as well, 400 grit sandpaper with the same metal block, as you guys can see in this next picture here, and that turned out pretty nice as well. So fortunately, all that footage missing, but we'll get back to rebuilding the cylinder head here. All right, guys, we're back today working on the Prelude engine. Getting ready to take the rest of the valves out. As you guys saw, I got that one bent valve out. It's been a few weeks now. I got that out. Made our custom valve spring compressor tool, so that's cool. So we're gonna get this up. I want to show you guys what else I've been working on here. Anyways, I got the block all the way done. Cleaning wise, as good as I want to get it. Transmission-ish, pretty good. It's just so dirty. It's not that noticeable, so once it has paint and primer on it, it'll be all right for now. So I got that. I'm gonna do the cylinder head, get all the valves out, see if I need to order any more valves. So I'm kind of holding off on that order for now. I want to get that painted too, get that cleaned up, painted. Stuck there. Okay guys, I had to take a break. I got 3 valves out. I'm working on the 4th one here. And I think this is a hint why this valve got bent. Because look at this here. So I got a valve right here, and you think this thing would like come right out like it should, right? No, it ain't doing anything. It ain't coming out. I had to hammer the valve out with a dinky hammer. Like even me just hitting it didn't have enough force to get out. So that's not right. Like man, this thing's not what. Oh my gosh. What Like, this should not be that hard to take out. So something's going on here. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. Alright guys, bit of an update. Little time's passed. You guys saw me take all the valves out. That went smoothly-ish, just besides hammering out every single intake valve, which is really weird having to hammer a valve out. Exhaust valves came out perfectly smooth, no issues there. We got a couple theories going on here. Definitely something is wrong with intake valves. There's some kind of something or another that they put on the stems, but we think we're like 90% sure that that is what caused a valve to stick, or it just turned. It was just so hard for the engine to turn over that the time belt ended up slipping because the cam just couldn't turn, and that ended up making a bent valve. So, because when I got the car, you guys remember one of the rocker arms was off. So that's what we're thinking. We did just do some measuring real quick, and the valve stems are like all within like the service limit, like they're on like the very verge, if not a little less. But for what we're doing to this engine, it should be all right. I don't know why are we all the carbon off these valves, guys? Easy as that. All crudded up there. And they get perfectly smooth. Just don't go too crazy on the stem up high. Just get all the carbon off. Alright guys, we're back again. Got all the valves cleaned up on the wire wheel. And actually these intake valves, since they were so screwed up, I said previously, don't use the wire wheel on the stems. I ended up doing that. My grandpa said it should be fine. I don't see any crazy scratches, so just don't go hog wild on it. Just be careful that it got all that sticky crap, whatever that crap was they put on there that caused this engine failure. But so I got that off. The exhaust valves were an absolute pain in the butt because they were caked on there. I mean, they're bad. So that took nearly 30 minutes to do probably all the valves. I mean, it took forever. And anyways, what we're going to do now is we're going to lap the valves, and got a demonstration here. So this is the bent valve, obviously. I got a piece of hose and a bolt in here, and got our Milwaukee drill here. What we're going to do is stick in this hose in the valve, in the drill like this, your drill truck, which I need to get a smaller bolt. And then we're going to go in and out. So we're going to be drilling. We're going to have it on the back cycle. Do the same old. Get some valve grinding compound like this. You can get it at O'Reilly's. That's where I got this at. And then make sure you have oil to oil up the valve stem. So make sure you lube up the stem here, because I've seen videos you guys talking about if you don't, it will completely destroy the valve guide. Just from all that heat and not oiling it up. And also if you get valve grinding compound on that stem, that would not be a good day. So you're making grooves in the guide now. So here. You don't need a whole lot of valve grinding compound. There we go. Got nice and lubed up. I usually go a couple different directions usually. You can see I'm moving it a little. You can see it's a nice little thing there. I'm going to wipe this bad boy off. Alright guys, I'm back in with another voiceover. I realized that I forgot to make an outro for this video, so here it is. As you guys can see, I just got done lapping the valves. Turned out pretty nice, and so the cylinder head is about halfway done. So thanks for watching this video, you guys, and I hope you guys learned a lot, and hopefully you guys thought it was a pretty interesting video. Anyways, next video, we're going to be polishing the crankshaft and doing some other crazy stuff. So make sure you guys follow along for that and check out the next one. We'll see you guys in the next one.